everyone, and welcome to our second post-analysis of the Junior Nationals 2024. Today, I'm joined by Kavindu Malawaraarachchi. Kavindu, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks. How about you?
I'm good. Kavindu is our last year's World Youth Scrabble Championship third place or second runner-up, where he joined two other Sri Lankans in a complete Sri Lankan podium finish. Today we'll be analyzing game number 5 between Adheesha and Sandanindu. Kavindu, what do you feel about the quality of the games today?
I mean, not that surprised that Adisha was on the top table for like the entirety of the tournament other than like the first few rounds. And so I was actually there when we did the live streaming and all that. And I know it's biased, but I had a good feeling that Adisha would win the game from the start because he has a really good record. But yeah, let's see how it goes.
So we see Adheesha taking his style.
I think you can already hear me in the background giving instructions to them on how to keep the rack and all that. Okay, that's pretty good, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's a bingo, if I'm not mistaken.
It was a being a first move.
Wasted will play. Oh, Dotty.
Dirties. Okay. That's an interesting. I wouldn't go for that.
Indeed.
That would actually open up the triple lane with an S, which I don't think would be a
As Kavindu correctly says, yes, wasted, we agree, is the correct move. Dotties is also valid, but would place the S in the triple lane, exactly like Kavindu mentioned.
Oh, the bad. That's not bad.
Yeah, the X. Yes, he will have a good OX overlap.
Oh, yeah.
Do you see anything else, Kavindu? Maybe a bingo?
No, definitely not a bingo. That's very unlikely. He has a V and two O's.
Yeah.
I would say the best move would be like, let us see, would get rid of would be V or X.
Yes.
To maintain a good balance. Okay, he goes for Ox. Yeah.
We would agree with that move.
Downside opens the X, and yep, Adisha has really good scoring tiles.
Indeed. And we see 6 of Sandanindu's tiles. Is there 2 Vs?
Oh, yeah. Tough luck.
He had a good rack, but with the second V, it became really bad.
Actually, he'll score a decent amount if the EX spot is left open.
Remains open.
Yeah, he could play Vivo for a good 30 odd.
But it's highly likely that Adisha will take that spot. Does he have a bingo, Adisha? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
What would you play if you had this rack coming?
I'd obviously go for the EX spot.
Yes.
I guess
X
Hick would be my go-to move.
HIC. Right. Yes. HIC taking only the S back hook. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Maybe the K.
Actually, no.
Yeah.
He does not take an S. He only takes a K as a back hook. So that would actually be a good trap as well.
Indeed. And on the rest of the board doesn't look that great for scoring, Adisha.
Yeah, this is one place where you could score. Other than that, it's basically just, I mean, only 2 moves. So can't really go into that much detail on that.
He opts to play fish using the other place where you can score with the X.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that.
So he opts to keep a superior leave with CANS instead of keeping the I and the F.
And he still manages to score, I think, 30 or so points.
Yes.
Which is not bad at all. But now Sandanindu can actually play Vivo for again about 30.
Exactly. But we see Sandanindu lining up VOR, maybe missing
Mhm.
Vivo as
Oh wait,
Kavindu pointed out.
wait. If he does play Vivo, he opens the triple with an O
That is
about the
true.
double letter. That would be critical. With someone like Adheesha, that's the dead end giveaway.
Hmm. That is true. But the X has already been played, so maybe
Mm.
X and already one F has been played. So maybe the O just
True.
above the triple wouldn't be that dangerous, my
Mhm.
opinion.
But if so, we can only see 4 tiles. If the remaining tile is the blank,
It is the black.
this leave isn't that bad, given that he gets like really good tiles in the next move, which he doesn't. Okay. Oh, it was the cues. And yeah, this goes for analysis. I believe that's there. Does
That
he
is
not have
there,
any?
right, Kavindu?
Yeah, yeah. Does he not have any other places to play it?
And
I guess not, because that's kind of a dangerous opening.
hmm.
Yeah, he doesn't really have any other places to play it. Yeah.
So
Yes, Sandanindu has the Q and the U.
QU, both bad tiles but good together,
Yeah.
and it would give him some good words like quippo or quip. Maybe
Mhm.
looking through the A, what do you see, Kavin? Because that will be the first place Sandanindu looks at.
Uh, if he uses the blank, he can play Kina. I don't know how it's pronounced.
Quinoa,
Kivyu
right?
I Inoi.
Yes, quinoa.
Yes.
Yes, making the blank N, but that would leave both V and P on his rack. Mm,
Yeah, and he'd only score about a 45
yeah,
or
that is
less.
not worth using the blank. Um,
Oh, and he could play Quipo next to fish. Okay, he goes for king.
right, yes, exactly. The board is upside down from our perspective.
Yeah.
Uh,
The only
I,
downside I see is he's left with VOPU, which is just terrible.
hmm, yes. This move is not bad because it blocks off the triple, but as
Mm.
Kavin mentioned, it leaves VOPU, not that good. But if he did play Quippo, that would leave him with
Mhm.
V and the blank. That would be a pretty good leave.
Yeah, that would actually work out.
Yeah. So the position we mentioned is with the O next to the F of fish, with the
Mhm.
Q hitting the triple letter as well. That would score above 45, would you think?
Or 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, about 40 or more.
40 or more. But instead, Sandanindu feels that leaving the A is too risky with a opponent like Adisha, even though
That's also a
Adisha
good
would
point.
have a completely different rack, like a complete
Oh.
set of 7 different
Mm.
tiles. Um, but yeah, what do you make of Adisha's rack, Kavin?
For me, it's a horrible rack, but
Hmm.
for him, it's probably not that bad. He would
Right.
find like a really good move out of it.
Hmm.
I myself
Yes,
would be at a loss of what.
we see words like aloof or loofa,
Lufa.
but with a place, is there a good place to play it?
I mean, so I think the scores aren't updated yet by me. I was the one entering scores. I only did one skill moves, but I think so. Now there's about a difference of about 90 points after Adish's bingo and Tulnit's QIN play. I guess Adish would probably he doesn't usually go defensive from my experience, so I guess he would just try to
Keep scoring.
keep a lot of tiles on the board to have a better tile turnover and end up drawing a good move. And he obviously has the upper hand when it comes to word knowledge. So I'd
Def-
say he just might go for a high number of tile plays.
Hmm. Right now, just looking at the board, I think maybe focal or some scoring play through the sea. That's what I would probably play, even though it would
Focal.
open.
It
Yes.
does not take an S hook though, which would again
Yes.
be a nice trap.
Hmm. Indeed.
That would leave Adheesha with three vowels.
3 vowels. He would be using both his consonants.
Mhm. He might opt for an exchange.
Real. Does fish take a S hook as well
I
or
don't
not?
think so. It's the
Don't think
only
so.
Y, fishy, obviously. Nothing else.
That means this board is a bit lacking in S hooks, which
Yeah.
makes it a bit more constricted than usual.
Yeah, which again serves as an advantage of Adish because he can't really be restrained by S hooks.
Hmm.
But it's definitely going to be a downside for Sandanindu. Oh,
Exactly.
it's Adish's move, right? Yeah. Okay, he's going for up now.
No, I believe Sandanindu played QI and
Yeah, so
now
it's
it's Adisha's.
Adish's.
So maybe he could play aloof from the A in wasted. We see him setting up
That
off
again creates the issue of playing all his
all his
vowels.
consonants. Yes, all
Consonants, yeah.
his consonants.
Okay.
Exactly. Now we see him scoring pretty well with the double overlap of the F and setting
Mhm.
up his L. Kavindu, how
Oh,
do you like
yes.
that play?
That's kind of nice.
Hmm.
And it's what else comes in front of yes,
There would
just
be a
G and
G,
L.
G.
Mm, not quite there.
Mm,
Southern Gujarat. Okay, he definitely has to get rid of the U or the V or both if he can by
yes,
now. Oh, he
He-
can play vouch
through
with
the
the
C. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I like that play a lot. Vouch, getting rid of the V, O, and the U. That looks like the superior play here.
And he would score a decent amount. Oh, turns out he has Akho for a staggering score of 50, but I don't think he'll go for that.
Upho, that would
Akho
play from where?
next to fish on the triple A.
Upho. Oh, I see. UPH. That's UPHOVE.
Or the
That
yeah.
Upho. Wow. Yeah, that would be the best play here, probably, because he would keep the P
He
and the
goes
blank.
for an exchange.
No, he plays H and
Oh, he
U.
played Q.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
that does score pretty well, but
hmm.
I
And
think
the
both
lead
of
isn't that
us
bad. He
really.
missed. Yeah.
Hmm. I think personally, I would disagree with keeping the V continuously. It's been
Hmm.
several turns where he's held on to the V. Although, as Kavin mentioned, he does have the blank to soften the blow, or the V is not a bad bingo tile. So in that
Mhm.
cases, it is acceptable. But yeah, let's see what happens to him, whether he's rewarded or punished. Oh, and we see, yeah, Adisha just going to play
Oh,
Loni.
Lonnie.
Yes.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about when I mentioned Adish would just try to have a higher tile turnover. That, that's probably the best move other than exchanging, which would eventually cost him a move.
Hmm,
So Lonnie would be a nice spot.
exactly.
Um, okay. Thanks to the P as well, I don't think Southern still has a potential bingo opportunity.
Yes. Um, exactly. Just keeping the V and the P continuously is not a great strategy on part of Sandanindu,
Mhm.
especially with this deficit. He needs to bingo, and we see him finally getting rid of those P and the V.
Finally.
Yeah. But what do you think of this strategy, Kavindu? Just keeping all the 1 point tiles and getting rid of the main
Mm,
consonants? Is that something you would do? Or would you perhaps look to play the
I
O?
wouldn't I wouldn't follow that logic, like getting rid of all my scoring tiles, but in this case, I would want to get rid of the P and V.
Yeah,
So here I would keep those tiles, but as a general practice, I might tend to keep one of the non 1 point tiles.
exactly. I would have. And we do
Did
not
you
see
draw?
Sandanindu's seventh tile.
Yeah,
Was that a blank? Was that the second blank? I don't think so.
I sure hope so. Yeah, Adisha, I believe, has ADAW, Adobe.
Dog, exactly.
Oh, yeah,
Dog
and he goes
taking
for
the
it.
A hook in front.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, leaving a very good leave of A, T, and S. Does Adore take any front hooks, Kavindu? I don't think
I do
so.
not think so. No, no, it doesn't.
Yeah. So that is quite a safe move. He scores quite well again with the double overlap of the W.
Mm.
So maybe some players who want to emulate Adisha's style can see that he opts for the scoring move always, looking for those double overlaps. And even though he does know fancy words like analyses, he needs to score most of the time. So maybe that's
And the
something
thing is, he scores around his own words. So off,
exactly.
adapt, and
Yeah, we
what
saw
else? Even fish and all that. Like he manages to score more using the own words he played.
exactly.
So pretty much self-sufficient for him. If we could see Sandanindu's seventh tile, we could decide.
Exactly, whether he has a bingo, because this what we see right now, the six tiles, those are very bingo friendly. But with
Actually, for
regards to
most.
bingo chances, what do you think about the board, Kavin? Does it look a bit closed off to you,
Mhm.
or is there
Oh
still
yeah, it's
hope?
very close. Oh, there I am
And
again next to teacher,
yes,
checking
we
the
see.
scores.
So we see Kavindo in two places.
You could bingo through the A of Adao and the D,
The
and
D.
the L doesn't present that much of a chance for a bingo. There might be a few, only a handful.
Indeed.
Okay, we got the updated scores. Adish is leading by 113. So at this point, Sandanid has to do something drastic. Either go for like a set of high scoring moves or score decently while approaching a bingo. He might already have a bingo, we can't say for sure.
So he opts to
Ah,
play N and E in an
hmm.
opening
You-
move. Very risky.
I don't recommend keeping the E. Not like he can really
Keeping
create an
the O,
open
you mean?
triple either. Yeah, that's right. And DE might even take legs hooks, and at this point he needs to open up the board. Yeah, DO has more back hooks as well. So Adish at this point, Adish just needs to keep his lead. And actually in this tournament, I remember his margin wasn't that high. I mean, it was high, but compared to his other tournaments, his margin was not that high. So for example, in WIC last year, his margin was just way more than pretty much anyone else. I think only Madhav Kamath from India had a higher margin than him from like the entire tournament. So Adisha usually capitalizes on margin. He needs to place a Geo,
He
again
does.
leaving a beautiful rack leave.
Exactly. So Adisha may be thinking he cannot close the board too much, but instead just opting to pad his
Hmm.
lead and see what Sandanindu comes up with.
Yeah.
So the board is open for Sandanindu now. So if there was a good time to strike, it would be now. Using the O as a good place to play his bingo
Hmm.
under. But
I feel like
without that seven
Adisha,
tile,
yeah,
we can't. Without that seven
yeah.
tile, we don't really know what he has. It looks very bingo friendly.
At this point, a bingo might not suffice. There's
Yes,
about
one bingo.
120 lead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one bingo
and the
is not
bingo he plays, he should try to score the most he can.
exactly.
Because I've been in this situation so many times. I bingo, but I'm still down by like a lot, and it barely does anything. I mean, it does anything, but it doesn't feel like much. Oh,
Yeah. So Kavindu, do you think Etimons? You
close to
say it's
no.
not
I
valid.
don't think so. No, no, no.
Are there
That can't be
any?
it.
Are there any bingos with the S?
Oh yeah, I think Sentimo, Montes,
On
Moisten. There's one more. Mestino.
Steno.
Kind of low on my word knowledge. Haven't really been playing much.
Well, you just listed all four
Zombie.
anagrams, so I
Yeah.
don't think we can say you're lacking in word knowledge. But
Well, in terms of remembering it.
right, and we see
Okay, so I think
Adisha
they're
going
on
for
to
the
plan.
Insta
Hmm.
challenge. Perhaps just like Kavindu recognizing this as not a valid word. Even though it is a good try on part of Sandanindu to try and score some extra points with the
Yeah.
vexed hook. Yeah, but yeah,
So
think,
actually, I remember that day there was this whole contraption set up in next to Adheesha, so he would have to like go all the way around the table just to challenge. And he knows his words pretty thoroughly, so he had to challenge any phone his friend. So you're like, sorry, but you're gonna go from the other way around, or you'll just topple over the entire set. He didn't really complain. He just obliges with whatever we told him to do. Yep, and Sandanindu got challenged off.
yeah. So Sandanindu perhaps squandering a important opportunity to get back into the game,
Hmm.
but sometimes you just got to go with your gut, and that's what
Yeah.
Sandanindu has done.
Okay, now
Now,
Adish has the advantage of knowing Sandanindu's rank.
yes, he knows exactly that Sandanindu can bingo from the O of Agio. So, is there a
Hmm.
good way to block this?
Um,
I'm not seeing one.
I don't think he can completely block it, but he can. Adisha can go for something like constraining the place by limiting the bingos to a few, which
Hmm,
might to a few that might not be spotted by Sandanindu.
right. How would you do that, Karan?
Um, Let me see if Steam is a word. Yeah, so might play something like Steam with Dex and uh, below Geo. So by
Hmm,
playing Steam, I still open up the board for him, but for one, I might be taking away the double word opportunity from Sandanindu, and it also reduces the scoreability for him. So right now he can easily utilize the double word. I mean, it won't be that much of a difference. All would be within the range of like 5 to 10 points.
yeah, yeah. So, I would agree with Kavindu. You can't really stop Sandanindu from bingoing if he knows all his bingo or his anagrams of
Hmm.
his bingo. But something like stim, as Kavin mentioned, or as I was thinking, maybe unnecessarily holding on to that S, maybe something like dim underneath agio.
Oh yeah.
With,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Actually, I would not play this. I don't know why I told that. Good point.
right. But I would think also at this point, the board doesn't really hold a place for the S, so it's not as
True.
valuable as usual. But
Yeah, but
players
one
like
thing about
us wouldn't sacrifice the S so easily. You were
and
going to
one thing
say,
about this would be that with all good players. So I remember a game where I played at WYSC. So they had the S. I figured that out using tile tracking, but it was of no point because when he played a move and I knew it was a setup to play the S for like a 50, and I couldn't do anything. He had it like really well planned out. I believe this was hitting Madhav Kamath from India. Super player, by the way. And I knew he had this. I have seen him do the same thing with like a different one in a different game, but I still couldn't do anything. I just sat there laughing, and we both knew what happened. So Adisha might go for something like that.
hmm.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, so the S can be really invaluable. The best hook letter there is. So exactly like Kavin says, Adisha will or might hold on to it. So let's see what he does in this case. The center triple,
Mm,
but we see maybe Adisha going for the points instead.
okay. Hmm, That's an interesting choice of play.
Yeah, maybe thinking a bingo can't really hurt him. So
Yeah, it,
just
it can't really hurt him, true,
yeah,
to a certain extent.
yeah. So even
He
giving
might
Sandinidu another bingo then
with
with
tilts. I don't think he can
Miltons.
play. Oh yeah, he can play Mestino.
Exactly. Like Kevin mentioned,
But
Mestino being available bingo.
I mean, kind of far-fetched, but it might be a trap so that he plays Mestino and Adija as the S. So Mestino takes an S hook. But
Mm.
that's kind of far-fetched if you ask me.
Mm. So we see Sandinidu finding mention as a bingo,
Mm.
but leaving a massive S hook.
Oh,
Um, could that be some other letter other than the N? Kavindu?
I mean, he could easily play something like Moisten here, but still it would create that issue. I believe he should have something through the
Montes?
yeah, exactly Montes, and I'm looking for something through the double letter. He could play Sentimo.
And we see Adisha going to play Mary instead, getting a lot of points. Oh, sorry, Mardi. Mardi.
Mad, yeah.
Mardi.
Okay.
So not taking that
Yeah.
S hook right away.
So I would probably go for Sandanindu, I would probably go with big somewhere. So my thought process would be what else do I need to get rid of my rack? And then I try to see how to what level can I actually do that. He might not actually have a decent place because at this point he needs to score as well because he's down by about 140 points, 120, 140. So
Yeah.
one place I see is big with GOAF that doesn't really score and uh, that would make his rack better, but it won't be the best move, I would say.
Hmm. Big with GOAF, you mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Uh,
And
He goes
yeah,
for
it goes
wait,
for
there was a Y, not a T.
yeah, it was a Y.
Oh, right, okay. But still, now he's left with two eyes and he's drawn the third eye. Now his rack
Yeah,
is just messy.
yeah.
Mm,
This is kind of a gone game at this point.
yeah,
He,
it's kind of, I mean, there's still an unseen blank, a Z, and a J in the bag, but he needs to draw all of them and it
yeah,
might be hard to win at this point. And it's
exactly.
not like Adisha's gonna lower his level of play at any time.
Yeah,
So he'll have to counteract Adisha's high scoring moves. What does he play?
he plays
Wow. Oh,
BOK
nice.
with Kawa.
Hmm.
It's nice play. And again, just keeping less, piling on the points. And
And
yeah,
okay, not a bingo, but that's a pretty good rank.
that's a good rack for Adisha. The same cannot
So
be
I feel
said for
like,
Sandanindu.
hmm, I feel like at this point, Aditya doesn't want to bingo or anything as long as he keeps the board blocked to some extent and keeps on scoring. It's his game.
Yeah,
I don't think he would really focus that much on a bingo because for him, a
exactly.
bingo is just two moves well played. So might as
Exactly.
well go for that.
Exactly. We saw Adisha piling on the points with pretty much 30 points each move, maybe except for tilt, which is about 20 plus. But yeah, Mardi, BOK, and then some other moves like Adore. Those are all 30 or close to 30. And yeah, Bingo is just two moves for Adisha at this rate. So he doesn't really need to focus and he just needs to,
Yep, we can see Aditya looking around, I guess,
yeah,
having decided that he won the game.
exactly. So you can see a bit
Okay,
of body language. And Sandanindu opts to
something to
changing GIVIC, if I'm not
so he's
mistaken.
left with IR. Okay, he draws the U.
Trying
If
to
he
go
draws
for the
an E,
bingo.
that's a bingo. Nope.
No, two R's. If he drew a E, he would have some good stuff.
Insure.
Insured, yeah. Insured.
uh,
Oh, yes, insurer. If it wasn't a D,
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah, but he already had an R.
exactly. Mm,
Hmm.
yeah, we don't really see much hope for Sandanindu at this point. But
Done
of
with your
course, he
games,
would
now
try and
it's your lunch break, so you should
reduce
be hereby one victory.
his margin of
Time
loss.
150, the next game will
Hmm.
start.
And we also see he drew the S to play with mentions. So you might be thinking
Oh
of
yeah,
that.
wait. Why did I think there was only one S in the bag? I thought that
Indeed.
for some reason. So there's two. But the thing is, he can't really score that much from there anyway, and doing
True.
that will doing that would actually open the board for him. But for him, this might have to be utilized for a bingo or something that scores more. Because
Exactly.
without a power tile, mentions won't get you more than about 30.
Exactly. Maybe playing SUNK if he had a power tile like the K, and
The K
without a
was
power
played.
tile.
Yeah, Adisha played the
Exactly.
K.
Exactly. Without a power tile like the K, he can't really score. And Adheesha opting to play through the TE, like the nice play of Tegu. Um, yeah, maybe not seeing a place for his J and just opting to just keep playing and come to the end of this game.
Yeah.
There's not really a threat from Sandanindu on this board. And where do you think it went wrong for Sandanindu, Kavindu? Because
Uh, I would
maybe
say for one thing, he had that VOUP or just basically that combination of the VP and maybe some not that good vowels from the beginning, and
exactly, and
he
he
might
held
have
on
not
to it for
realized
too
it, but
long.
yes, exactly. And even when he so he had like moves where he could at least get rid of one of them, but he didn't really go for those, and I feel like that kind of affected it. And
Exactly.
also, so to sum it up, poor rack balance maybe.
Mm,
So even after the exchange, he didn't really do that well. And I personally wouldn't have kept IR on the rack and exchange the rest. I would
yeah,
have maybe
just the I
uh,
maybe. I don't know.
kept the G maybe,
Just the G. Maybe going
or
for that.
even the I. I mean, it depends on if I had tracked the tiles, I would just go through it and see if there's like a bunch of vowels in the back. I would just get rid of all the I's.
Exactly. And we also saw him maybe play a bit too defensive when he was down, playing
Hmm.
QIN instead of playing Quipo and getting rid of the
Yeah.
U and the P and scoring more. So those are probably the mistakes that Sandanindu that led to Sandanindu not having a chance in this game.
Yeah.
And we see a bit of balance, getting rid of the two
Uh,
consonants, but again blocking his lanes.
hmm.
But at this point, might be feeling there's
He might
um,
just want to reduce the margin by not letting Adisha do anything, do that much of a damage.
exactly that could be his thought process, and he still does have the S of to hook with tilts.
Hmm.
That is probably the only.
What's the other tile of Sandanindu? Is
I
it an
believe that's a
R? I
R.
can't.
It's R.
Okay. Yeah, he has some bingos, but
Hmm. Do you see any
mm,
playable ones?
there's only 6 tiles down of tilt. Bernice, Rubies.
Adisha playing Rehon or Rejon.
Okay.
Nice play.
Mm. No, I don't think Sandanindu has any plausible plays. Oh, interesting. Rejon also transforms into Rejonio if it's pronounced that way. Regoneo.
Oh, really? So he takes EO as well at the
Yeah.
end. It's very interesting. And obviously, John, not a word. Jon, not a word.
403N?
But Rejon is a word.
Oh, wait, is there an R or an H? R, right? No,
That's a
yeah.
R.
He never had an H. Yeah.
So the only two possibly good bingo lanes are the D of Mardi and the
Hmm.
S to hook tilts. I don't think ending a bingo with the L or LE maybe. I don't think that's a very strong lane
He could actually go with something with ing at the bottom
with ING. Right, but
with
NY
like
would
you.
obstruct that, right?
Oh yeah, my bad, my bad. Okay, in that case, URD would be a bad move by Tulni. He
Yeah,
should have left that open and tried to get rid of the U, which he did now,
exactly. So maybe
and
too much
block the spot.
defense. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah, Adisha had
making
the bingo, and something to open the place for Adisha the bingo.
maybe the story of
This
this
is very
game.
frustrating. You know you need to open to win, and then your opponent just slams you in the face with the bingo.
Yes.
Mhm.
And the bingo for Adisha in this case would be what words, Kavindu?
Uh, I think actually he has an 8 letter as well with he can play dentures, but
Denture.
actually opens the place. Other than that, I guess Burn wouldn't really score much. He can play a
Tenuous.
tenuous, neuters, turines. but none of them would actually go for the double word. But then
Mm.
again, dentures is like a huge threat if there are any H. There aren't any H's left. So yeah, he goes with Turines.
Yeah. So we saw that
Yep.
Adisha clearly saw dentures, but
Mm.
maybe thinking just like Kavindu that opens up a bit too much. So maybe
Yeah,
going for the low
but
risk option.
yeah, this is also kind of bad. I mean, he doesn't know the Sandanindu strat, but he
Yeah.
can just play zip for a
Zip.
hefty score.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
so
will
let's see if
play
they're going to
zip,
challenge.
but we see something into challenging, which is something you should do if you're not sure.
Mm.
And so good move by Sandanindu. But this is a valid word.
Yep.
Burn also taking the T hook, right, Kavindu?
Yep, but none of the bingos would
Fit
fit there
though.
even with a T.
So we will see zip play.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So
upwards
at
of
this point,
50.
the board is almost blocked, and that's
Yeah,
it. Now, Sadhanidu would just have to try and focus on at least reducing the margin.
exactly. So maybe we can get some uh, pointers about how uh, players would reduce their margin in a game like this,
Mm.
where things did
Yeah,
not go in
so
their favor. And oh, we see Adisha drawing a really good rack.
ooh,
Would he have anything to the L of Loni?
hard to say with two L's. No, I don't think so.
Hmm.
Unless he has a 10-letter word with URD, I don't think there's a good
Yes.
shot at a bingo.
You see Kavindu
Yes,
again.
that's me again. Hi.
So we see Adisha alphabetizing his rack, which is something I would also recommend to maybe just get into a good practice of seeing all the words using your recall for the alphagrams. And he will be looking exactly at that L of Loni to try and bingo and maybe put the nail in the coffin.
Oh, I think the bag is good.
Oh, yes,
So
the bag
it's
is
pretty
over.
much game over.
So,
Adisha, I don't think he has anything.
yes, quite unlikely because that L is not a good tile to end words or be the letter, seventh letter
Hmm.
in an eight-letter word. And so we might see,
Actually, eighth letter in an eight-letter word would try.
is it
Eighth-letter
good?
word.
No, as the
No, no,
seventh
no.
letter, right? And so, yeah, where else would you score on this board?
Hmm. That's not exactly a good place to score. Because none of them have any scoring tiles and there's barely any opportunities on the board itself.
Exactly.
Now it's
So,
just whoever finishes first gets the improvement of your opponent's tiles. The result is already decided.
exactly. So maybe something Adisha would be doing is figuring out Sandanindu's rack and maybe thinking,
Hmm.
can I stop him from playing out? And
Yes, that's actually something that a lot of people don't do. Like once they win the game, they just give up. But Adisha here, even though he's obviously won the game, he still tracks to see if he can even uh, increase his margin by even a little bit. So in one of the games he played with, I believe with Imad, he created a V stick for Imad, but in the end he ended up opening it himself, I think, by mistake. But
yes,
things like these differ you from the average player and the pro players. This is not even something I did, but Alicia does it, so kudos for it.
well said. Yeah, not a easy place. So we see Sandanindu might have plays like CEILS through the L of Loni. Is there any other
Mhm.
place to play all of his
You can just
tiles?
play ISIS with mention.
Pixels with edge.
uh, below mentioned with M.
All right, making OMS. OMS is a
Yeah,
word?
yeah,
Hmm, right. Those two-letter words ending with a consonant, some of them can be tricky, but Kavindu correctly
yeah.
saying that OMS, and maybe that is exactly what
Oh,
ooh, we
I
see.
guess he was trying to minimize what he left in the rack for Sandanindu to take.
Yeah,
I guess that's an E for gate leg.
we forget, like, and showing you the extent of Adisha's knowledge. Word with two G's.
And he reached the 500 point mark.
Yeah, always the sign of a good game. And we see, oh,
Ooh,
finding a good place.
nice.
Slice. Yes, scoring close to 20. But of course, that is not enough.
Yeah. With 36.
And Adisha playing a clinical game. Would you agree, Kavindu?
Yep, and actually, only three, actually four bingos are played out of three which Adisha played. So, but it can't really say he got lucky or anything. What he basically did was he was just score from the bad tiles he got and eventually ended up with good tiles. So,
Exactly.
I guess this is a well-deserved win for Adisha. He doesn't look happy though. He's just staring at me into the scores, I guess, with a grim look on his face.
So Sandanindu making some crucial errors, as Kavindu mentioned, with rack balance and opting to be too defensive and maybe missing some critical bingos like we saw with etymons, which is not a word. And yes, some mistakes like that will make or break the game.
Nothing about the game in specific, but like a piece of advice for everyone would be that yeah, obviously knowing your seven-letter words, your bingos, three-letters, two-letters are important, but after a certain level in the game, knowing those won't be enough. In fact, this game was decided based on how many other words you knew and how well you place them on the board. So words like Mardi and what else? Adopt, be okay, like those short words which were not bingos kind of help Adisha to have an advantage lead, which helped him to focus on his rack and all that. And just like my point is that you need to know your words thoroughly, and it's not just the seven-letter words, eights and twos and threes. Like you need to know the words in between as well, the four, five, six. For instance, Lonnie, that pretty much say gave Adisha about 20 to 30 points, made his track so much better without costing him an exchange. So those kind of things really do matter when it comes to the professionality level.
Exactly, exactly. And maybe a bit too fishy on the side of Sandanindu, playing plays like HU with Hue and then PAV, PAV to get rid of the tiles that he didn't like at the moment. But
Yeah,
we
I
saw
mean,
that
how he had to play, but he could have prevented that in the previous moves.
exactly, exactly. That being my point, that he didn't need to fish it off in that manner if he had played the long over. And we did see that Adisha didn't opt for any fishing moves like that. Instead, always playing 3 or 4 tiles. The only exception maybe being Tegu, where he didn't have any other players. But yeah, maybe some advice that our players will pick up on. And thank you so much, Kavindu, for analyzing this game.
Welcome. Thanks for hosting. See ya.
And we hope to see you in another episode sometime. And that's it for this one. Thanks, everyone.